Hello and welcome to Understanding ACE Accreditation, brought to you by Bishop Mackenzie International School. Have you wondered whether the ACE protocol really does transform learning in schools? Or is it just some snazzy slogan that's used and really the only thing that's important is to jump through the hoops every 5 years and get that logo put on your website? Well, in this particular series of vignettes, we ask key staff within the school how they think the ACE protocol has impacted them through the Learning Principles visit and beyond, to see if it really does transform thinking and transform learning within the school.
The ACE Learning Principles visit at first didn't seem incredibly rigorous because it is not a tick box, but the deeper thinking that it prompts you to go into is I think incredibly beneficial. It really does open up a new world of groups of teachers who are reading and reporting on what they've read. Intellectual groups are thinking about what they're teaching rather than just delivering in the classroom. I think
there's a clear and definite focus now on learning as you go through the ACE accreditation process and beyond. The desired impacts that are in each of the 10 learning principles guide the discussions within the working groups.
Definitely. It made us think, and it's got, I think the challenges that it has brought up continue after the visit. They're definitely things that we are putting those principles into practice now, and further discussion about how we prove what we're teaching, how it becomes visible.
I found the whole process highly beneficial. It allowed us all to gain an understanding of what is going on in areas of the school where we may not have looked at before. For example, for secondary staff to see more of what's going on in primary, and for the whole teaching staff to look more closely at our agreed learning goals.
We're looking at the impact of everything that we're doing on teaching and learning. We've never gone into anything like that in as much depth before, and I think now through our the meetings that we have with board, with the meetings that we're having with policy committee, all those sort of things, they're all being impacted by that process that we've gone through.
The visit has given us more of a direction with our whole school committees. These committees have been created according to clear drivers that became evident from the visit. For example, we've developed a communication committee, ATL committee, which are both new, a data scorecard committee, which is something we started developing when we were preparing for the visit, and service learning again being a main driver.
I think having gone through it lends itself to a lot of work later. It really makes us think about looking at our children and seeing what they're learning, making all of their learning visible. We question ourselves much more now. We look at how we're teaching. We're looking at learning styles much more. I think we're looking at, in this particular school with a high percentage of second language learners, we're looking that we've done the theory before, but this has made us really look at the techniques we're using and how we're actually engaging all of the children that we've got in the school.
You know, what I really do like about the ACE accreditation model is that it does really promote school transformation. All of the learning principles make you, as leaders and teachers, stop, reflect deeply, take stock and think about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what impact it has on student learning. One of the principles that I particularly reflected deeply on was the learner engagement and autonomy. It spoke about the fact that are our students given the opportunity to have choice and voice in their learning? Can they choose what they're learning, how they're learning it, and how they demonstrate their learning? And I reflected as the MYP coordinator and as a teacher as well about the amount of choice that we were giving our students, and I think it was really an area that we could improve in. So that then led me to conducting further research about different teaching methodologies that we could use within the school to enhance student agency within the school, which then led me to project-based learning, which I read a lot around. And I met online a teacher who was actually a former teacher of High Tech High, a school in America that's at the forefront of project-based learning. And as a result now, all of our secondary teachers are engaging in an online PD for project-based learning, where they're developing a unit from start to end, which they can implement in their classrooms, which really promotes student voice and choice in their learning.